Hello everyone and welcome back to Project Ozone Reloaded Titan Mode. You're watching episode 34 and I am starting in the Erebus here because I would really like to kill that final boss, which is the Antlion Overlord. I have been spending a lot of time in his pretty annoying pyramid in the maze gathering up what's necessary to do it. Let's see what it says here. It says 8 pieces of jade in the chest must be placed in the slot. From the inside of the middle floor of the pyramid, it's protected by a force field that protects the middle of the room and separates the other 4 corners. In the first corner, you'll need 8 exoskeleton plates. And the next one will need 8 magma cream, then 8 magma crawler eyes, and then the last corner requires 8 string. This will then shatter the force field, and you'll be able to apparently get to the Antlion Overlord. This is actually missing a step. You actually first have to go through the big maze down there and get these 4 scarabs, and each one of them is found on a mini boss that is a it's a named mini boss. It drops a yellow heart. I don't know how hard it is really, because they all just died with one whack from this sword, which is probably what will happen to the Antlion Overlord. We'll see. I do understand the Antlion Overlord has some special attacks that can make it a little more difficult to deal with, but I think if I can get in range of the sword, I can just kill it, and that will be that. I certainly hope that that is the case. Now, you do have to get these scarabs, and you have to go through this maze. Let me talk a little bit about it while I fly over there. The maze involves a lot of going around through a whole bunch of passages. There's some lava in the general vicinity of it. The pyramid itself is not easy to find. It is visible from the surface, although that is not how I spotted it. The easiest way to spot it is to run around one of these deserts and see the hit point bar from one of the golems. But once you do find it, here it is. It's a big pyramid, sort of buried in the ground, and there's this maze down here. Now this orange colored material that the maze is made out of, these blocks can be broken, but if you break one, it's replaced by lava. So that is something to be aware of if you start wanting to go and break out through the ceiling or break through walls with your pickaxe. You can do it. You will have to be dealing with gushing lava as soon as you do. But as you can see on Journey Map, there is a large dungeon here that's a big maze around this pyramid. I've cleared it all. You pretty much have to clear the whole thing. It's got spawners in it. It's got one problem that I found particularly aggravating in it actually was that mobs can attack you through the walls. So the mobs weren't doing very much damage. I've got pretty good equipment at this point, and you probably should too by the time you do this. But if you're doing it a little earlier in your Project Ozone stuff before you get great armor, you may have some problems with that. They can hit you through the walls, and you can't hit them back, is what it boils down to. So let's get this going. So I've got a green one here, and there's a green capstone. So I'm gonna sort of guess that we put it here. There we go. Now I've got the white one, and there is a white capstone, and the gold one, and there's gold, and then finally by process of elimination brown must go with brown. Well, that was ugly. I'm on fire. Okay, well, let's see what we got down here. So that's the teleporter. There's a teleporter there too, but it looks like it's covered up. And we've got these blocks, and I guess this is where the jade goes. I understand there's supposed to be some jade in the chest. There is. So I didn't really necessarily need to bring any The instructions were sort of clear that jade was provided. It told you what was needed in the others, but what I saw didn't exactly make it clear if you were going to be able to get it in a chest, so I went ahead and brought all the components anyway. Okay, well, let's go ahead and go down. Okay, so now I'm in another room. It's got some shielding around it, and we can actually see that the shape automatically suggests what should go here, which is the exoskeleton plate. So that's kind of a nice, convenient thing. So put that in there. That teleporter opens up. Now there is no chest in here, so I did have to bring those. If I hadn't brought them, then I would be leaving through this portal pad over here, I believe. So let's go in here. Okay, so this one must be magma cream going by the shape. Alright. And this is the magma crawler eyes. Don't worry if you don't know what these are. When you clear the pyramid, you will get a ton of them. Okay, crawl on that. Okay, and string. So it's actually pretty nice. It shows you exactly what it needs, but it does not necessarily provide all the materials, so you do want to come equipped for it. When we do this, I think we're supposed to see the hot bar for the Antlion Overlord, and the central teleport will become available to actually port into his room. We also got a fire resistance potion. And fire resistance is not one of my native abilities here. Night vision I have, so I don't really need that one. Let's just toss. Oh, that's one of the other quirks of this temple stone is that you can't place anything on it. So if it thinks you're placing something on it, you can't do it either, I guess. All right. So sword at the ready. Maybe I should get my bow at the ready too. And how long is this? This is a 3-minute potion. Let's just go ahead and use it. Go down. Well, there he is. Whack. I think he's dead. He's supposed to explode. There we go. So that was a little easy. But I am not unhappy that it was easy. I really would prefer it not be an extremely hard fight. I'm not in the game for the boss fights, so that's kind of fine with me that it was easy. We did get a Quake Hammer, which is 14 attack damage. It does an area of effect attack. We got a Soul Crystal. I don't know what that's for. Antlion Egg. I don't know what that's for. We have the other egg for it. But the important thing is, if we go to the quest book, we finished this quest, and we got not just a heart and reward bag and another one of those chance cubes. We got the mining multi-tool, which is the key to getting into the aroma mining age. So that is going to be a very nice place to have, not necessarily just for mining. I mean, you can mine there, but it's also going to be convenient because it is a continuous daylight world, and I think it's even peaceful, so there are no mobs that spawn in it. I could be wrong on that. It definitely spawns peaceful mobs like cows, pigs, and sheep. A good place to hunt for a few missing fluid cows if you're not spawning them somehow already. I've set up a spawner. And it's a good place to mine and probably set up a second base. So, let me just go ahead and turn that one in. and it is an epic reward bag. And it has fluid axe. Not too impressed with that. But I am glad to have the mining multi-tool. Now I'll have to be careful when I build the portal to build it exactly where I want, because I think you use durability when you make the components for the portal and activate the portal, which means you can't really move it a whole lot. But anyway, I will meet you back in the overworld, in the base, as soon as I get there. Okay, so I'm back in my base. I actually had a crash zoning out of the Erebus. I've had that happen several times. It specifically is zoning from the Erebus to the overworld, and it's using the gate and going through there, and sometimes I get a crash when that happens. And it happened this time. No big deal. I reloaded the game and recovered from that. I have done some work here in my fluid processing level to start making hydrogen chloride and storing it. Hydrogen chloride is for Tier 4 and Tier 5 mechanism ore processing. I don't know how far I'm going to go with the mechanism ore processing. I'll probably, if I use it at all, only do the more valuable ores, but I did, just in case I wanted to use it, wanted to start converting my brine into hydrogen chloride so that I would have it available when I set it up. I don't know if it has processed enough yet to have a full tank. Let's take a look. Resonant, portable. So that one's liquid plastic, liquid hydrogen, etching acid, diesel, blazing pyrotheum, kerosene, gasoline, lava. Lots of lava, 207. I've been mining in the nether. Oil, liquid lithium, gelid cryothium, heavy water. So I haven't actually made a full tank of hydrogen chloride yet. It's a pretty slow process actually, but I'm up to almost a full tank of it. Okay, continuing on up, the other interesting thing that sort of transpired between episodes was related to this power production here. I wanted to go ahead and mention that the setup I did with the RedNet controller was correct. I didn't have to make any modifications. And you can see right now that it's working. I did change the lamps to inverted lamps from Project Red, and so they would both be yellow, and they're on whenever the generator is running. So we can see that only one of them is running right now. It's charging up the vibrant capacitor bank. Right now I'm not using very much power because I'm not running a quarry or doing any processing or anything. So I've got a surplus of 88,000 RF per tick. So that's doing pretty well. These actually output quite a bit. I'm probably only using about 30 or 40,000 RF per tick total right now. And that's running the mining laser and all the stuff, processing fluids and gases downstairs, and there's also some ore processing going on upstairs for like the ex-nihilo ores. And of course the AE system runs a trickle, so there's power being used. It's just not using nearly as much as I'm capable of generating. This machine is has been generating cyanite, and I've just been pulling it out and putting it in the AE system. Let's go up there and have a look at that, because there's a quest that relates to that. And to complete it, all I have to do is have a stack of cyanite in my inventory. So let's pull that out, and let's look at what's done in the quest journal. So in the Delta chapter, I did go ahead and make some of these conduits. They're all very similar, and they're just the normal vanilla recipes. Typically each tier requires the previous tier's conduit plus some additional stuff on it. So if we look at the hardened flux duct, it's going to require the leadstone, which is the lowest tier, plus an invar ingot and some additional redstone. Now there is a break in that, and that's for the redstone one actually requires that you create an empty redstone energy flux duct, which is totally different. It's basically an electrum and hardened glass pipe. And once you have that, you fill it with redstone, and that's just done in the machine that I made downstairs that fills things with redstone. Then if you've made those, the next tier, let me just go ahead and accept that. The next tier is for the resonant flux duct. This one is really, there are two ways of making it. One of them is what I just described. You can take the previous tier and add a couple things, in this case redstone and an enderium ingot, and you get the resonant one. The other way to do it is to actually make an empty resonant one and fill it with redstone. And the empty resonant one is a bunch of these empty redstone resonant or energy flux ducts with, again, the enderium and the redstone. So it's just a question of, are you filling before or are you filling after? Okay, so that is all done on there. Before we move off of this one, on the tormented heads, the sentient ender, I did get a witch head, or not head, soul. So since I've got that, let me go ahead and finish this quest. It needs the witch soul and an ender resonator, and I don't know that I have ender resonators. I do have them set up automatically. Okay. So let's take that downstairs. I'll just use the elevator. And you know, it doesn't go in this machine. Never mind. We'll bring it over here and put it in this machine and spend 10 levels, and we have sentient ender now. And with that, this quest will also be complete. And that also completes that whole chain all the way down the line through here. So we're making some progress on the Delta chapter as well. In the other one that was completed was in Iota, and this is just the one I told you before, getting the cyanite, a stack of it. We'll just get that. It's a waste product from the reactor, so you have to run the reactor a while to get it. And of course that's going to lead to the cyanite reprocessor, which I'm not going to make right now. So let's go and take a look at these bags. 3 graders and a good, so I'm sure there will be nothing all that impressive in them. Ore processing upgrade, falling belt, an artifact, a digging gold figurine of swiftness. It's a pickaxe. It says converts to emeralds when dropped. Okay, that's another artifact. This one is a bright iron trinket of flight. Provides illumination, converts to emeralds when dropped. Damage resistance when inflicting damage. Now, when dropped, I guess that maybe means throws on the ground. If it means leaves your inventory, then I'm sacrificing it. I'm not going to keep it around. Okay, going back to the quest journal. The thing that I really wanted to work on today, I'd like to try and get this Galacticraft stuff opened up. I don't really have a good idea as to what opens it up. Logically, it should be something before that chapter, and that chapter is Iota. So Theta is RF Tools, Erebus, and Ether, and that seems a little unlikely, although RF Tools is sort of about traveling to other dimensions using tech, which is similar to Galacticraft, I guess, in some ways. Eta is applied energistics. I really doubt that's it. Now, Zeta is Solar Flux, Quantum Flux, and Mind Factory Reloaded. And I have not been doing very much with this one since I got all that opened up. Probably still not going to do anything on it today. I suppose it's a possibility. What I really think the right direction is going to be is because this is going to involve building a whole bunch of machines. It seems reasonable that it would be something machine related that does it, and mostly that is going to mean mechanism and Pneumaticraft at this point, although I really don't know. Let's do the combiner if I can. Um, and I can. I've got all of this stuff for that version of the recipe at least. So with the combiner, there are two recipes. One of them involves Pneumaticraft components, the other one doesn't. I'm probably cheating by going over to this one because I suspect it doesn't really belong in there, but I'm going to do it anyway. It looks like I'm going to have to make some elite circuits. Okay, and with that we get the combiner, and we can claim the reward. I've been picking the middle one all this time, so I'm not going to change. It's a grater with some applied energistics cables. The first time I got those, they were pretty nice, but don't really need it now. Okay, so that leads to the robot miner, which does unlock one quest elsewhere. I suspect that that quest is simply the final thing in the book, just decrementing the counter on it. So I'm not going to pursue that one right now because it is very complicated. Let's look at this turbine, the wind generator. Now, in the previous version of Project Ozone, these were actually very good for generating power, and I know of no reason why that would not still be the case. So I need a couple of energy tablets. I'm probably not going to use it just immediately. You've got to build it up high to get the most efficiency on it, I think, and I don't want to string power that far. I mean, you could use tesseracts, but I don't have a platform built up that high yet, so I'm just not going to do that for now. If we just need one, though, that does complete the quest. And I wanted the reward bag, not the other. Cobblestone framework. So if we go back to the quest book after putting this stuff away and see, that should have opened up the other two. Well, it just opened up one. Solar panel unlocks one quest elsewhere, and it's not the final one. So that might be what we need. Solar generator. These are also, at least in the previous version of Project Ozone, very useful. Now, the advanced solar generator is used in not only for generating power, but it's also a component of the thing that you can use to make brine for mechanism. I actually think that if I do that way, I'll probably use salt, which you can just make in a cyclic assembler using water in a pot. But I will have to build some of those in order to get the. There's an achievement in the simple achievement books for it. Okay, so here I'm missing most of the components. So it wasn't that one that I wanted, it's this one. But I'm missing these solar panels. And so I'm in the right one to set that up. We'll go ahead and set up that as a template. And just request a few of them. And the other piece that was missing, it looks like it was maybe osmium dust and an energy tablet. So those are definitely craftable in the system. Okay, so I should be able to load that recipe now. We'll put it there, and we'll go over here and put the template in now. Was this a crafting recipe? Yes, or it's a crafting task. So I'm going to have to come over here and do it this way. I'm still missing one osmium dust. Now that we have that, I can craft it and claim the reward, which is a good reward bag with people movers. Okay, this is actually a pretty effective solar panel. I'll probably make a bunch of them. I don't know right off the top of my head if I want to use the big one or the small one. I'll have to look at the space requirements. I think they're about the same, and maybe the big one generates more power in that space, but I'll have to double check and see. I like the small ones for portable power because you can just take and plop one down on top of whatever you're powering. The big ones generate more power and are a little more difficult to hook up than that, but still not bad. Okay, so going back over here, let's see if that maybe got us Galacticraft. I'm not going to do anything in Galacticraft today, but it did. That was what we needed to open up circuit wafers. So I can start on Galacticraft fairly soon. So having gotten that out of the way, there are really two other things I want to do. First of all, let's go to the deep dark. Okay, so here we are in the deep dark, and it doesn't look dark at all because there are torches everywhere, and I have night vision as well. One of the things you may notice is there's a creeper off of there in the distance, and it is in an area that is completely lit up with torches. Apparently, mobs do spawn in full light here. So that is something to be aware of. Darkness will kill you here all by itself, but just because it's light doesn't mean that mobs won't still kill you. So definitely something to think about. Well, now we've got a zombie over here. It was a villager zombie, but I don't need any more villagers right now. Okay. The reason I came over here is because I want to set up a quarry. And I have dug out tunnels in all four directions here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to set up my quarry so that it misses the portal. So I'm just going to go down the middle all the way to the end of this one. And this one's a pretty long tunnel because I wanted to make a big quarry. I can speed things up by holding my sword. Okay, and the other thing that I need to do is I'll go out this way. And this will be a huge quarry, actually. Eventually, I'll be using RF tools dimensions for mining because you can customize much more lucrative ores in them. But I do want to go ahead and get a quarry started and run it at least once in the deep dark. So, I need to put my quarry down. I can just plop it here. Now, this is not going to mine up anything that is on the line connecting them. So it's the inside where it mines. So the first block, the corner of the mine is actually right there. And that's what I want. I want it to miss this block, but still catch some of the edge of it. because that way I can just do 4 quarries around this and completely miss this whole column that this block is in, but get everything around it. Okay, so it successfully established the boundary there. Now I want to go ahead and put the upgrades on it, and I am going to go ahead and use all of these upgrades. So I'm going to use the pump upgrade and the world hole upgrade, because I do want to just completely dig out all the blocks. I don't want to leave any of them. So I'm even going to get all the stone and cobblestone and stuff. And then I'm going to need an extra spot, I think, to get all this stuff to fit in. I want the silk touch, and I'll put it in the bottom. And if I put this cobble back, now I'm going to put the speed 3 upgrade. So I've got all of the upgrades on the quarry. The only thing left is to supply it with power and get all the items and fluids back. And I'm just going to do that with this tesseract, which is already configured specifically for working with the quarry. It is set up on the ore processing channel to send items and fluids and receive energy. So this is working. It's already done over 2,000 blocks, and I'm ready to go home. Where I'm probably going to have a problem I need to deal with immediately. Let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I had forgotten that when I started that quarry, I was going to have a large amount of stone and cobblestone coming in that I did not have configured for processing in this area. So I needed to come down here and set that up. And so I've set that up, and things are processing pretty nicely. There are a bunch of ores in here that are dense ores of various types that I didn't find in the nether, because they're not nether ores, they're just conventional ones. Also, it looks like there's some thorium and maybe a couple other things. But at this point, that's going to hold for a while, and I can deal with that after I get done recording. So, the next thing I want to do is I want to take a little bit of a look at Galacticraft, because I'd like to go ahead and get that chain of stuff sort of at least in progress. I made the plastic a long time ago at this point, but I have never gone and made any of these components that needed it. And the first of these is a transistor, and it's made in the pressure chamber with compressed iron ingots, redstone, and black plastic, and I know I have all of those components. So black plastic, and how many of these do I have to make? Just one? Yeah. Okay. So there's my black plastic, and I need redstone. Let's see. Just ordinary redstone. And compressed iron. Okay, and the quest after that will actually be for this capacitor, which is the same thing but using cyan plastic. So plastic, we'll go for the cyan, and redstone, and compressed iron. Okay, so let's take these down to the Galacticraft chamber over here. And you know, I may not have... I need some fuel. Let me run back upstairs and get some fuel. Okay, I have fueled up the compressor, and it is generating air pressure here. And I want to go ahead and configure the filter to accept, I guess, compressed iron, redstone, and we'll do black plastic first. And I'll just toss these in here. That isn't going to work because I also need to configure it here, I bet. Actually here. Okay. Put those in, and they should all go into the chamber here, but it's going very slowly because it's like going one at a time. That's interesting. Alright, so all three components are now inside, and it immediately made a component that my filter won't allow me to pull out. Let me come up here and tinker with that and get that component out of there. Let's see. Filter. If I just do that, then it should pull everything out, I think. Might help if I took off my ring of magnetization. No, it's still in there. I'm not sure how to get it out. Oh, it is moving out now. Or at least it looks like it is. Yeah, it came out of there. I don't know what I did to get it out, but okay. There are probably better ways of doing this. Let's go ahead and put the transistor as an item that it can pull out for sure. And that way in the future it will pull that out automatically. So let me put these other three components in here, and hopefully it will make the capacitor. In the meantime, let's accept the transistor. Galacticraft is one that I do not know very much about at all. I did the thing on the oil processing and for plastic, and I thought that turned out fairly well. That's a reasonable way to do it. This machine, though, all of the getting things in and out with the filters and so on, that's a little more... okay, so the cyan plastic didn't move in, and it's because I've got filters on here that have to be set up to accept it. Now it should go in. And there we go. And immediately made the transistor. Let's just come up here and cycle through all of the filter options like I did before. Okay, well, whatever I did, pulled it out. And there's our capacitor. And that quest is now, well, it is complete, but that wasn't the right one. Oxygen tanks. Okay, the next one I'm not going to do just yet. It involves a fair amount of making lots of stuff, and I think we're pretty much at the end of this episode, so this will have to be done next episode. However, I think we made some decent progress today and saw a few interesting and different things. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, or share. Thank you for watching. I will see you next episode.